Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about what I've learned about dating in Kenya after a month being here as a foreigner. Stick around for today's video.
I'm tired of waiting here, same four walls, same fading year. Got these plans stuck in my head, Southeast Asia calling me instead. Bangkok nights and Bali shores, sick of dreaming, want something more. Pack your bags, don't hesitate.
Today I'm going to just kind of go over some things that I've learned, maybe some tips that you can use if you come out here for dating. But before we begin, I do want to discuss some visa options. I did get quite a few comments about visa options. So let's go ahead and briefly talk about visa options. First visa option is a short-term visa here in Kenya, and you get 90 days. You apply online, you submit your passport, a photo of yourself, I think your return ticket, your hotel, and that's it. And within a few days, you're going to get a approval on it. You print it out and you just bring it through immigration when you come in, and that is good for 90 days. And you can extend online one time for an additional 90 days. That's usually within a 1-year period. So if you come in, boom, 90 days, and you can extend another 90, that's 6 months right there. So you get 6 months of being in Kenya if you want to be here longer term. The next one is Kenya offers a 5-year visa. A lot of people don't know this, but they have a 5-year visa for tourists or business. So if you're like a frequent traveler, business traveler, or people with flexible long-term travel plans, then this visa is probably for you. Basically, common stuff, you need at least 6 months left on your passport, return onward ticket, evidence of sufficient funds, and some other supporting documents they may ask for. I think usually like return ticket and things like that. And it only costs about $160. By the way, the 90-day visa one costs about $100, and then to extend it is about $50. So you can get 6 months for about $150. But this 5-year visa, $160 will get you 5 years for Kenya. Now, again, that's not all consecutive staying for 5 years. That's 90 days at a time. Again, you can extend out another 90 days within the year, but then you have to leave, and then you can come back and, and you get these multiple 90 days that you can do. Basically, it's just multiple visits over 5 years. Then there's another one that some people might be interested in, and that is if you want to maybe perhaps visit Uganda or Rwanda, you can do what's called an East Africa tourist visa. And so one visa allows you entry into Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda. And the validity is 90 days. And it's great for like if you're kind of like a regional traveler, you want to hop around, not for long term, but if you want to hop around and do multiple countries for 90 days, that's a perfect visa to get as well. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. So as a foreigner, and yes, this includes Black Americans. I've met many Black Americans here who love the dating here. Talked to 2 guys just yesterday and they said, I won't even date in the US anymore. And so this just applies to foreigners in general. They can tell, Black American, white guy from Europe, whatever, from Latin America, they know you're a foreigner, they can tell. But you're gonna stand out immediately. And with that comes curiosity and assumptions with that. They're gonna assume you're rich. This is really no different than Thailand and the Philippines sometimes. And some women see opportunity, some see novelty. And I would definitely say attention is amplified, but the motives are gonna vary. So you still have to be cautious. Second thing I've learned, and I was already kind of prepared for this, but let me tell you something. They have something here called African time. And it reminds me of the Philippines too, because if you have a date for 6 p.m. or are you just gonna meet some friends or something at 6 p.m., guess what? They probably are showing up at 7 p.m. They probably aren't even getting in the shower until 6 p.m. And so tardiness is just normal, and it's kind of culturally accepted here. And for me, it drives me nuts because I'm ex-military, and I always learned that if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, don't bother showing up. Unless you're in the military, you still have to show up, but you'll probably have extra duty. So that can drive some people nuts. You just have to kind of adjust. When somebody says meet at 6, don't even leave the house until they say, hey, I'm in the taxi. So again, if they say I'm on the way, that could mean another 30 to 60 minutes. That means sometimes they haven't left the house. No different than the Philippines, to be honest. And showing up late isn't seen as being rude. So you have to kind of get over that. You just have to adjust. And time is definitely more flexible than the US. So if you're somebody who's punctual like me, it can be a bit frustrating unless you adjust expectations. And that's what you got to do. So if you really want to meet somebody at 6, you tell them, let's meet at 5. And then you're going to have your date at 6 o'clock. Now, number 3, you are going to be expected to pay for Uber or Bolt. They are very traditional in that matter. Kenyan women want you to pay for the taxi, which is not a big deal, you know, $2-3 one way or back, you know, $10 at the most to pay for her transportation. Not a big deal. You can actually call the Uber on your phone to go pick her up, get her address, pick her up, and that way it's already billed onto your phone. And you can watch to make sure she's on the way, and then you can kind of time when you need to arrive as well. That works out great for that. But again, the man is expected to pay for the transportation costs. The Uber and the Bolt requests to pay usually will come before the date. They're not going to just arrive and then say, hey, can you give me? They're going to ask you probably ahead of time. This is just kind of viewed as normal provision, not entitlement. So don't think it's like she's after money. It's just kind of normal. So paying for Uber doesn't mean you owe anything, and neither does she. Now, fourth thing I've learned is dating moves fast emotionally here. And really, this was kind of like the Philippines for me as well. It can move fast. You get the strong interest early. Relationship language comes fast. Hey, baby. Hey, honey. Things like that. Daily communication is going to start almost immediately. And it doesn't always mean manipulation, but definitely slow things down. That's the smart thing to do. You have to set the speed on it. You got to control it early on. And the fifth thing I learned is money does come up indirectly sometimes. She might say something like, I'm struggling. Oh, my rent is coming up. College is starting next month. Oh, I haven't worked in a couple weeks. She may not ask money directly, but she will probably hint at it sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. She might say something like, life is hard here. I haven't eaten today. And again, coming from the Philippines, I was already used to all this. I kind of already knew exactly what this stuff meant. I mean, it was really no different. And often I think this is almost like a boundary test, not really a scam. And how you respond is going to kind of determine what happens next. Now, malls are prime interest interaction zones. I've seen it firsthand several times. Foreigners get approached more in malls. Some women actively seek out foreign men, and confidence and directness are quite common here among Kenyan women versus like the Philippines. They might smile and walk by you a few times and giggle, but here a lot of them might approach you. So the interest itself is not a bad thing. Just don't confuse pursuit with compatibility. Another thing that surprised me that I think is a good thing, and that is traditional and feminine behavior is very common here. They expect you to pull out the chair at the restaurant, open the door on the taxi. They expect to be the one to take care of the house, cook for you, clean, do your laundry, things like that. Definitely more traditional gender roles compared to Western dating, which is a good thing, which is why a lot of guys come out to Asia, Kenya, other places. And feminine presentation is definitely emphasized. Respectful gestures, I think, are appreciated much more. Again, opening doors, pulling out chairs, things like that. Maybe some chocolate or some flowers. Definitely deference and softness in communication. They are very feminine here. And it can feel really refreshing, to be honest, especially when you come from the West, where they just don't appreciate anything. And it's more like expected. But it also comes with expectations of leadership and provision. So they expect you to be the provider. They expect you to make the decisions to say, this is what we're going to do, this. Okay, you're going to cover the rent. And so for a lot of guys, they kind of like that role. I actually like it as long as I'm not being taken advantage of. And the other thing is submissive doesn't necessarily mean weak. I just think many women here are cooperative, respectful, and relationship oriented. But submissiveness is often conditional. And I think respect kind of flows towards men who are calm, decisive, and consistent. If you lose boundaries, you're going to lose respect. So again, you have to kind of lead the way and kind of set the motion on how things are going to be. Now, definitely good women exist here, but they're quieter. I have found, I think that the best connections usually move slower, don't pressure financially, have goals or employment. I had this rule in the Philippines too. I did not want to date a girl who was not employed. I need somebody who's got something going on in her life and who has some responsibility, financial responsibility, knows how to handle some bills and buy things and save up for her own needs without depending on a guy or family members all the time. And I like it also when they're not impressed by passports or flexing, you know, they're just impressed by maybe compatibility. And I think they don't chase, they just kind of observe. And for me, that's kind of the best kind of women. And that's not just here in Kenya, that's in Philippines, wherever. I think the last thing I would probably mention is boundaries matter here more than anywhere. The biggest lesson I think I've learned so far is you say no early on, don't over-explain, be kind but be firm. And I think generosity without boundaries creates confusion, not attraction. So yeah, you can be generous, but you still got to be firm and say, okay, no, I'm not taking you on a shopping spree. No, we're not going to the most expensive rooftop bar here in Nairobi. No, we're going to eat here. And you know, you have to kind of lead the way, or you could be taken advantage of for sure. And that can be anywhere in the world. Like I've said many, many times, women are women everywhere. So dating in Kenya isn't bad. It's just different. If you're careless, you're going to get used. If you're guarded but respectful, you can build real connections here. So slow down, watch actions, don't confuse femininity with dependency. And I appreciate you guys watching. Questions, comments, please comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Still waiting for my passport. I'm probably within about a week. It's already been mailed on January 5th, so I expect it at any time. And then I will head off to Mombasa and kind of continue my journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.
I'm tired of waiting here. Same four walls, same fading year. Got these plans stuck in my head. Southeast Asia calling me instead. Bangkok nights and Bali shores. Sick of dreaming, want something more. Pack your bags, don't hesitate. Gio, let's go before it's too late. Time